Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Thank you for watching on the YouTube and listening on the iTunes. I'm trying to bring you guys news the mainstream media isn't bringing you, which is why I appreciate all of you supporting the show. And if you aren't supporting on Patreon, every little penny helps. So you can go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. The link is in the YouTube notes below. And you can support the show for as little as $1. And you can get bonus video and bonus audio. I'm releasing the audio podcasts early on Patreon. You can do a Skype interview, a lot of cool stuff you can do to support the show. So here's something I haven't heard much in the mainstream media. I've been watching a lot of mainstream media basically during Hurricane Irma to see how it's when it's affecting Florida. I have a fair amount of friends in Florida, and I perform there a lot, and so it's I hope everybody there is okay. So one of the things that is happening is Governor Rick Scott, who's a Republican governor of the state of Florida, said we can rebuild your home, but we cannot rebuild your life. Because this hurricane is going to be 400 miles long. Initially, they thought it was going to come up along the East Coast, but then it's along the West Coast. The West Coast hasn't had a big hurricane in quite some time, so a lot of people weren't as prepared. But one of the things this governor did was he defunded the Wetlands Agency. And I don't know if you know this, but Wetlands Act, what wetlands do is they act as natural barriers to the destructiveness of a hurricane. So I'll read what they do basically. So they need to have where all this water, this a massive influx of water, the more development and just concrete you have, the water has nowhere to go. That's why one of the things that contributes to the flooding. So I'll read you this information. Both coastal and inland wetlands perform different functions to slow the impact of the storms by absorbing storm surge and soaking up rainfall, respectively. A study released this week from Scientific Reports, an online journal from the long-standing environmental publication Nature, spells out the benefits of coastal wetlands in storm mitigation. Wetlands are estimated to have reduced a little over 1% of the flood damage from Hurricane Sandy. Though this value varies considerably between zip codes. This guy said that while the total area of wetlands in the state hasn't decreased since Scott entered office and defunded the districts, the wetlands have been degraded. That's because part of the permitting process for development in Florida still involves finding a way to build that does not at least damage to wetlands. The districts require any lost wetlands to be replaced elsewhere, but the artificial replacements are generally lower quality wetlands, meaning that the filtration and water storage abilities of the ecosystems are less effective. In some areas of Florida, we've lost wetlands with the understanding that loss has been mitigated somewhere else nearby, but they're not necessarily of the same quality. A 1996 Department of the Interior geological study found that no long-term interdisciplinary research shows unequivocally that a created wetland has fully replaced the lost function resulting from a wetland's destruction. So they're just getting rid of a wetland and building another one saying, oh, it's fine, but it doesn't have the same effect. Until 2011, Florida's water management districts were run by regulators and scientists and had relatively healthy budgets. But Scott's order to cut funding from the districts by $700 million, in addition to replacing of district staff with more development-friendly land lawyers and business people, has resulted in the dispowerment of the districts and a less certain commitment to the restorative mission. I mean, Professor William Mitch, the director of the Everglades Wetland Research Park, who works with the district and saw its contract survive the budget cut, said the governor's treatment of the water districts has been part of a change to the state institution that made the mission of ecological restoration and water quality a secondary concern to the interests of industry. In addition to cutting funding, said Mitch, I saw a change in agency where they were less working for water quality wetlands and nature, and more working for industries. They are serving more than the people of Florida. Oh, God. One of the things, too, with all like the porous terrain of the wetlands and stuff like that, Everglades, that can suck up the energy of a storm and take away its power. When passing over developed land, a storm can regain more of its power or retain more of its power because nothing is absorbing it. So they've basically cut down the ecosystem's potential to lessen the impact of a storm like Irma. So not only do we have, no one wants to talk about how climate change, warming up the oceans, makes the things more powerful. Now, all of this, and again, we've talked about this with Trump, and the Republicans love deregulating everything. The Democrats do too, obviously, but the Republicans have always been big about deregulation, right? Environmental law is bad for business. Well, how good is it for business to have a storm retain its power and not get weakened by the ecosystem? How good is that for business? Because the financial destruction that is going to come through Florida is going to be astronomical. And I don't understand how you can sit there and just deregulate everything. It's such a short-sighted thing. You need organization. We need to protect the ecosystem, because without it, it's going to cost us a lot of money. If all you care about is money, that's fine. Then you should be wanting to protect the ecosystem even more. Because I don't care how much of a developer you are, if these hurricanes come in and wipe everything out, you don't have any money. And where's this money going to come from? Depleted local and state and federal budgets? Okay, good luck. So it's an interesting article. There's more details in here, but it's oof. Yeah, this is a serious hurricane because it was a Category 5 out there. It got downgraded to a 4 or a 3 even, then picked back power up after it left land in Cuba and the Keys and stuff like that. Picked more power up over the water, and then it hit landfall. It's still at about a Category 3. That's pretty severe, man. Like, that's pretty severe. So I hope everyone in Florida is either evacuated or they're safe. And everybody else, wherever you live, get disaster preparedness equipment and skills. Have that in your car and in your home and where you work. I live in California and I have disaster supplies in my home. I have them in my car. So if something earthquakes hit here, they just, without warning. So when that happens, I'm prepared. And I hope that you are too. Go to redcross.org or just Google disaster preparedness and get all that information. As I said, I'll do a video on this too. So, all right, everybody, I hope you're safe and well in Florida. I hope everybody in Houston and Texas are digging out or recovering. And thank you for watching the show.